What's good with the YouTube? It's your boy Reggie RT in the place to be, back again with another video, another banger, another lit video, another informative video, because you know I be dropping some keys, you know. But today we're gonna put y'all on some game real quick. You know, I'm gonna teach y'all how to properly shift your car. So I'm gonna go to this disclosed location. When I make it back over there, then we're gonna start this video up and I'm gonna teach y'all what the deal is. Alright guys, so we're gonna start in first gear. Now in first gear, you wanna pay close attention to your RPM. That's the first thing we're gonna go over, your shift points. Now when you first start off, you see how it's raising up? The shift point for this car, right there, okay? Now you gotta listen to your car. You see my RPMs are up, so I can shift again if I want to, like that. Now, also, you're going to experience a lot of drone if you got your mufflers deleted as well, like me. So you're going to hear it higher at a higher RPMs. But one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to downshift too fast. The shift point for this car is 5,500 RPM. So you want to make sure that you don't get past that. You get past 5,500 RPM, you're going to redline. Okay? Now, right here, you have your shifter. If you shift it to the left, which is already to the left, M is going to be highlighted. Okay, so you know you're in manual. Right now, I'm going 45 miles an hour. I'm in third gear. I'm good where I'm at, but if I'm at 3,000 RPM right now, you can see that I'm going to be using a little bit more bit of gas because I'm riding in 3,000 RPM. So right now, we are in fourth gear. I'm going 50 miles an hour. Now, what I want to do now is I'm going to downshift. So I'm just going, when I want to downshift, I'm gonna flick it up like that. And you can see your RPMs raising back up. And that's what you want to do when you want to slow down as well. Or if you want to get some instant power. Now, there's a little key tip. If I downshift again, you see my RPM go, raise up again, it's ready to go. You see that? And then I'm gonna shift up. Don't want to go past 5,500 RPM. Never go past 5,500 RPM. If you are a beginner, I repeat, if you are a beginner, do not even go past 5,000 RPM, especially not in first gear, or you will redline the car, period. You will redline. And you're going to know when you redline because you're going to get a little jolting motion. You're going to kind of go in your seat, like kind of shake a little bit, and the car is not going to go. And you don't want to do that because when you in manual mode with the stick, you control your transmission. You are in full control of your transmission. Now, one thing it will do, it'll downshift by itself. When you get to a low enough speed, it'll downshift by itself. I think from third to second and second to first. Probably not any higher gear than that if you're in a fourth or higher. But yeah, that's what you want to do. So when you come into a stop, and you trying to slow down, make sure you downshift because it won't downshift for you if you above fourth gear. So we're gonna do that one more time, and it's gonna be covering the stick shift that I'm going through. So one more time, we taking off in first, and watch my RPM. Y'all saw that, right? So basically, like I said, if you know your car, once you get to know your car, you can know it by the sound, and you don't have to go by the RPM. You can hear the sound, but that takes months, some people even a year of experience. So I just recommend practicing and looking at your gauges before you do that, because you don't want to keep redlining the car. You keep redlining the car, you're gonna have transmission problems in the long run, regardless if you got a new car or old car. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna go over is the paddle shifters. Alright, so for the paddle shifters, you can have your clutch in regular drive mode. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna switch it back to the right. Now we're back in automatic. Alright. So make sure your settings are correct for the paddle shifters first, because if they're not, your paddle shifter might not work. So Alright, so what I'm gonna do is Right now I am in 7th gear going 58 miles an hour. These are your paddle shifters. The right side is to go up, to shift up. The left side is to shift down. And I'm gonna shift down as far as I can. If I'm 58 miles an hour, I'm thinking I should be able to shift down to at least 3rd gear. So here we go, we're gonna shift down once. And you're gonna see that it's gonna come up and say manual mode engaged. Now we're gonna shift down again. And each time I shift down, my RPMs are going up. And now you can start to hear it. I'm in 4th gear. I'm in 3rd gear. And then let me go to 2nd. You see that? Shift. Shift. Okay? So you got that. Now we're going 61 miles an hour in 4th gear. We're going to downshift again. Okay? You hear it? And now sometimes, like right there, it says shift not allowed. If you're going too fast, the car will not let you downshift into a lower gear that's not possible for that speed. And that the same thing goes for the paddle shifter and for the complete manual mode. If you're too high speed, it's not gonna let you downshift. So that's a good thing, because you know in a regular manual, a fully manual car, you can shift it however you want to, and you can tear your transmission up. So that's a good safety feature that Dodge, and I think a lot of other companies have put into place on their vehicles now, because we got you got a lot of beginners, a lot of people that's interested in driving a manual. So this is a pretty good way to have some fun when you're on the highway, on the road, And another thing too, this really opens up the exhaust more than the regular drive mode. And I'm gonna also put some clips in here where you can see the difference in the sound between me putting on the throttle in automatic and putting on the throttle in manual. And you can see, to me, it's a night and day difference. Alright guys, so we're gonna do a quick pull. I'm in 2nd gear. I'm gonna let y'all hear. Let's go. Alright, so now I'm in 6th gear at 45 miles an hour. And this is the difference between it. It's gonna downshift for you, and this is what gives the lag in automatic mode. I'm in 6th gear. I'm supposed to be in 3rd. So watch this. Alright, so now I'm gonna give y'all a pull. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. And the sport mode is gonna automatically make you your RPMs. It's gonna hold it. It's gonna hold the RPMs a little more, and it's gonna kind of stretch it out, and it's gonna open that exhaust out. So I'm gonna let the windows down. I'm gonna put it in full complete manual mode to the left, and I'm gonna let y'all hear. Here we go. Shift down, shift down, shift down. Alright guys, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up for y'all and give y'all a little more information, just in case I missed something, because I was really trying to focus on giving y'all some good little footage of the sound and of my shift points and all that good stuff. So basically, in conclusion, learn your shift points. The car shifts at 5,500 RPM. And actually, I think that's only for RTs. I'm not sure about the Scat Pack. I think the Scat Pack might go to 6,000 RPM. But I know for sure the RT is 5,500. Next thing is beginners. I recommend you to start using the paddle shifters first, because one thing about the paddle shifters, if you don't shift on time with the paddle shifters, you don't have to worry about it. It'll shift for you. So that's a good thing about it. With the manual stick, it will not shift upshift for you at all. and you will redline if you go past 5,500. Next thing is, after a while, you'll be able to learn the sounds of your car as you drive it more. So then you won't have to be constantly looking at your gauge. That's another big thing. Third thing is, another thing to remember, these cars, we get most of all our power in second gear. So I know a lot of people like using the paddle shifters for racing, and I can kind of see why, but the paddle shifters are pretty good for beginning, just starting out. I recommend starting off with those, and you pretty much can't go wrong, guys. So another thing that I want y'all to know is, another tip to learn your shift point. Look at where your gears are at in your gauges up front by your speedometer. You can turn that setting on in the settings where it will show what gear you're in. Even when you're in automatic or manual, regardless, it'll show you exactly where that is. So as you can see, it's gonna tell you the exact number right there for the shift point that you're at. So you can look at where your car automatically shifts when you're in automatic, and then you can base that off of where you might need to be when it comes to the manual mode. Now, one thing to note about doing that, your car in automatic is going to shift when it's convenient for the car. So for example, your car is not going to hold first gear long at all. You can be going 10 miles an hour, and if you don't hold on the throttle long enough, the car will not hold that gear. It's gonna go straight to second gear. So that's one thing to remember. The car is gonna shift pretty early when it's in automatic. Shifts a little bit earlier in regular mode when you're not in sport, and it shifts a little later in sport and automatic. But that's just another way for you to be able to learn the shift points other than listening for it or looking at your RPM. Alright guys, so before I wrap this video up, man, I got a very special announcement. Tomorrow I will be getting my brand new wheels and tires. Of course, I'm gonna film that video for y'all. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna give my car a whole new look. And so y'all make sure y'all turn on the post notifications. Y'all like, comment, subscribe to the video so y'all can see more content like this. And I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Reggie RT.